Welcome to Sex, Lies, and Blank Pages with the people who make it happen.
So we will
Yeah.
introduce you guys today because our assistants, Colleen and Sophie, Willow's assistant, Sophie, is here with us today to spill the shit. Like, we won't even say spill the beans. We're just going to get down because I don't know, Willow, is this kind of dangerous for us to do? Like, should we really be putting ourselves on this side of the where they can spill on us?
Sophie
Like,
knows more secrets about me than my husband. Is probably the only person on the face of the world who knows more about me than I know about myself.
and we're giving them a microphone.
Yes.
What are we doing?
Yes. So welcome, Sophie Broughton. Any readers of mine that who know anything about me know all about Sophie. So yeah, so if you'd like, do you want to introduce yourself to the audience?
Oh, I hate these moments where you got to talk about yourself and
It's like-
say something interesting because
it's
I'm
like
the
that
most boring
interview,
person
right?
out there.
First of all, do you guys hear her accent? One of the reasons that Sophie, like when we started working together, how many years ago? 7 or 8? 7 years ago, I could sleep at night because Sophie was awake while I was sleeping. So I ended up when you started working with me, I ended up actually being able to sleep because before
because
that
you never left your computer.
Yes,
Ever.
I was terrified. I was terrified to leave. I was like, if I leave, something bad is going to happen and nobody's going to be there to stop it. And then you came on and I was like, oh, I'll leave it to Sophie then.
And now everything.
Yeah.
To start with, it was a little bit like, okay, I'm just going to stay. And I was like, go to bed, woman. It's okay. We've got this. It's fine.
Yeah.
And then now she's not even awake when I get up in the morning.
I know.
It's like complete 180.
Yeah.
But it's good. Me, I don't know. What do you want to know?
So how did you get into this? Like, how did you like?
So I started, I've been working with Willow 7 years. So probably 2014, 2015, just started reading books, picked up 50 Shades as you did.
Yeah.
Then found some groups online that were talking about the books and read the Sylvia Day, Bed to You books. And then through that, found another author who was writing books and found this indie community that I had no idea about whatsoever. But joined the big book groups that were out there and just started reading the books that were recommended, all the old, like the big ones, like Thoughtless and, and all those kind of ones. Found then Laurel and Page and then Kay Brom, and all those sorts of things. Can I mention names?
Absolutely, yes.
Yeah.
As long as we're not talking shit, you're allowed to mention names.
Okay.
If you talk shit, we have to beep it out.
Something in the back of my head just went, take a stop. Okay. So I found Laurel and Page and Kay Bromberg and all those, along that line and everything. Started reading those and then got talking to readers in groups and eventually was invited to a blog that I blogged on for 2 years. Back when it was all just the Facebook blogs, like before Bookstagram was on Instagram and everything like that.
I don't even think Instagram existed and TikTok was still Musical.ly.
That was how people found things.
Back then, if you wanted to be big, you had to have a blog.
Yeah, a Facebook page blog. And it was back in the days when Facebook actually showed your post to people, and you got more than 2 likes on a post without having to pay
way back in the day.
Yeah.
I digress. And I started blogging and then I basically just had conversations with authors who liked my reviews and got talking to authors and I got told on a few occasions that I had great common sense and made things very simple when I was chatting with authors. And then I got helping an author out back in whenever it was. I got helping an author out and my name started to go out there a bit more. People like, do you want to help me out? And it was basically just doing very basic social media stuff, posting my group, because that's all we had. Posting my group, posting my reader group, interacting, that sort of stuff. And then I was introduced to Willow.
Yes.
And it was like, Sophie's looking to get into all of this. Why don't you two pair up and see what you can do? And
I remember the first day because I had a quote unquote assistant before Sophie. And
Let's
this is,
not use that word.
Yes, yes, it was absolutely awful, and I was traumatized. But that's
Yeah.
for a different day to talk about how badly that went over.
Mm.
And then I brought Sophie on, and I had this list. I had two lists. The first list was what we could start with, and the second list was if things are going well, we can add these on. And Sophie saw them, and she said, "Well, I know already how to do all of that, so I'm going to do it all. And you also need this, this, and this."
You're like, oh, okay.
And I was like, "Oh, okay." Sophie came in, she just cleaned me up. She was like, look, she was like, you just need to stand up over here. Let me do this. You do this.
And a lot of stuff, a lot of stuff to clean up and tidy up, and things that we
Yes.
unearthed and found that were just like you would believe from the assistant.
Yeah, because I don't think people realize how much behind the scenes. I think they think we just write books and they're just out.
Yeah.
And you guys just
100%.
post, and you guys just post social media for us, and that's it. You know, like
That's so funny.
Even other authors I don't think understand either. Sophie works full time. Both of us work full time, plus, you know, my husband and then everybody else. But Sophie literally has a full-time job just for what I have on going on with the business. And as time went on, we learned a lot, I think, together. Like the industry changed before our eyes, and we worked together to change with it. So I definitely couldn't be where I am without Sophie. I would probably be in a mental institution without Sophie.
It's been close a few times for the both of us.
I think we can agree with that too. Like, there becomes such a system because it's a business. And again, there's a difference between, and I guess you guys could go through what you probably had before and what I've had before is the assistant. Like, again, people listening that maybe want to get into this or something like that. There is a difference between somebody just helping you and they can call themselves assistant to actually being a personal assistant full time. There is a huge world between that. And I'd love you guys to go over like what that, both of you, what that
Sophie
entails.
is also, she's the vice president of operations. If I died today, my business would continue to run, because Sophie knows the ins and outs and how to market and keep all of the wheels that are constantly turning that needs somebody to keep it spinning. Sophie knows, like, we have basically an out where if
we could just prop up your dead body at like different things, like Journey, and just keep
pack
going.
a mystery box with me. My hand falls off.
Keep going.
I did say to Sean the other week that we need to start thinking about cardboard cutouts just in case, so we can like just pan round. Oh, there she's in the background.
Willow, you're alive.
Yes, I will live on. I will live on. Don't tell anybody I croaked.
This business will go on.
So you guys give a little clue on what you guys like, what you go through in a day. And I know it varies. I know it's crazy, but bring it.
Wow.
First of all, Sophie and I talk a lot during the day.
We do. We don't have a day anymore that we don't talk now. I think just going back to the point, I know I've mentioned it to Willow before and everything, but going back to the point about assistants and what people do and what people don't realize, I cannot tell you the amount of people, authors, assistants, people who want to get into it that reach out to me. It's at least 3 a week that I get. How do I get started? Where do I go? How do I do? I want to help authors, but I don't know what to do. And my question usually back to them is, what do you think you want to do for authors? Because the majority of the people, and it's, you know, it's totally fine, but the majority of the people just come back and they're like, oh, well, I'd like to be able to help them promote their books and maybe do some social media stuff and maybe just, you know, do this. And it's like, okay, so you basically just want to be a social media manager for somebody. And they go, no, I want to be a personal assistant. But there's this misconception now of what and it's been for a while, of what a personal assistant is, because a while back, everybody was a personal assistant. Even if you just helped an author post in their group,
right?
You
PA
were a PA
was in front of everybody's name.
Everywhere. And and it was out there and everybody was a PA. That was the way you went to. And I don't think, like you said before, so many people think that the authors are just writing a book. The assistants are here just, oh, we'll make sure the Facebook page runs, and we'll make sure that some posts going in the group, and we'll do this and everything. And but when I say to people about the stuff that I do, they go, what's that? How does even to some people, like newsletters and things, and they're like, what's a newsletter? How would I send a newsletter? Because it seems such a big thing. Everybody knows you've got them, but how do you do that? Is it not just an email that you send out? No. So there's just so much.
I think we have a list somewhere called tasks. I think that has a list.
It's probably easier for me to tell you what I don't do.
Yes.
Okay.
Really. So I mean, I have a hand in pretty much every section of things, and even if I don't do,
I did find it. Do you want me to read? I'm gonna read. This is old, so it's definitely been updated. But okay, guys, buckle up. This is going to be very boring. Any and all website management whenever needed. Posting blogs, personal and books, adding new products, updating pages, words, categories, and SEO on all book platforms, planning sales and coupons for the shop, running the rep team for shops and boxes, handling all email correspondences regarding the shop, which would be customer service. I'm literally not even a fifth of the way done. Maintain Amazon for the shop and the books, creating and setting up all A+ content, maintaining all ebook retailers and update where necessary, including sales, add reviews to Author Central for every release, create vellums and generate books, update all back matter, upload ebooks to retailers, which I know a lot of people don't have assistants do, but I don't want to do that myself. Upload paperbacks to Amazon and Ingram Sparks, as well as Barnes & Noble. Maintain Ingram and update where necessary. Launch all audiobooks on Findaway, Amazon, and Kobo. Manage the review team, the street team. Send ARCs for every release and manage review submissions. Manage correspondence with PR companies, submitting books and preparing for releases. Something that's not on here is also sending the PDFs to the copyright lawyer, because now Sophie does that as well. Managing all social media for the big book lover, as well as we have all of the influencers, and Sophie is managing all of those social medias, overseeing and managing the team. Managing, at the time we had the Facebook ads for the shop, which we don't have anymore. We don't really do Facebook ads, and if we did, we would delegate that. But managing Goodreads, adding a new book, manage BookBub and add all books, manage Pinterest. We actually have somebody else doing the Pinterest now. Her name is Chelsea, and she's wonderful. But you still help me with the Pinterest boards and things like that. And now we also have managing of the Patreon, creating all newsletters 2 times a week and any newsletter management, send the UK text alerts. I send the US, closing giveaways and handling all correspondence, maintaining all miscellaneous shipping to make it easy for the team, marketing, console and business support, and personal support. I take advantage of personal support. Manage my calendar and daily tasks that need to be done. The first thing I do every morning is ask Sophie what's going on today. And then you do the beta reading and any kind of Verve or Prolific Works or book funnel links. Yeah. So that's a long list.
Yeah. And that's just stuff that that you already know about, where there's stuff that comes up in the day that you're like, oh God, okay, stop everything. Now we got to handle this. And constant different, seems like it's endless. Colleen and I probably voice message each other 1,000 times a day. It's just and then I think there's a big also misconception of somebody coming new in and going, I didn't know about newsletters, and they just stop there, instead of we've had to figure out today, if you don't know it, you figure it out. If you want to survive in this business, you figure it out. And I've noticed a lot of people they're like, oh, I don't know how to do that. Okay. If you don't know, you
gotta figure it
learn,
out.
Cause there's constant new things popping up, and everything is constantly changing. So you're like, I don't even know what this new platform is. Now we got to figure this one out. Yeah.
So I have a fun question. Ready? I want to know what your favorite thing is and what your least favorite thing is.
I already know her least favorite, because it'd be mine too.
You can pass if you want to pass. You have to take
I
a
need
shot though. No, I'm kidding.
I need to think about it.
Colleen, do you know yours?
All right, customer service.
Colleen, go first.
Yeah.
No, we love customer service.
Yes, we love
We
our
love customer
customers.
Such liars.
They are the driving force of everything we do. We love it.
Today, my least favorite thing is building Stacy's store from scratch. Rebuilding, I should say.
Yeah, rebuilding.
Stacy's store from scratch. So
And
that
having
is
it under a time frame that we need to,
yes,
it's
like
we're both stressing
I
out
have to
today.
have it ready for tomorrow.
I believe in you. I do. I'm sending you energy from this side.
I said that.
Actually, I have it ready. I just have to figure out how to hook it to her website, but that's a story for a different day.
Yeah.
I don't know what my favorite thing would be. I'll come back to that. Sophie, you go.
No, it's not us. We're not the
Yeah, but I thought you meant like
Yeah.
tasks.
It's
I'm
my
just
mental
kidding.
health support that was on there.
I was like, wait, but you know, we didn't come up at all in this.
Well, at least I didn't say you were my least favorite thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, good point. Yeah. I
I'm
think
sure there's days.
just before, I say least like favorites and everything. I shock people all the time, and I think I shock other people who want to get into this when they're like, how did you start? And I obviously tell them how I started, like I've told you, but I also did in the first couple of years, even before starting work with Willow, did a lot of training courses because I'm not from a business background. I was health and social care and everything over here. But I started to think I want to do more of this and learn more. So I did a lot of courses, paid for it myself. I was in the position and able to with, my situation, but I did it all myself, and put a lot of money into it. And then now I still pay for courses, and Willow will send me courses and say, let's do this. Do you want to do this? I cannot tell you the amount of, I think my least favorite thing is the amount of people who message me about that and then say, oh, can you share all those courses with me? That's probably my least favorite thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When I'm like, no, one of these courses cost a hell of a lot of money.
Yeah.
Didn't I recently
not
forward you one? Was it Sky or Alessandra who
Yeah,
said that they had?
Sky.
Yeah. And I
and
just
signed up for
forwarded that one. I think that one's free. Sky Warren,
Yes.
if anybody's listening in the audience who is curious about all of this, Sky Warren and Alessandra Torre, inkers, they both, two different companies, two different authors who help support authors as well as assistants, and they have a lot of information available for free that you can
Excellent
take. But there
courses,
are
too.
yes, but there are very
Really good.
expensive courses too. Like I think there was one that was like $2,000, wasn't it?
I do the Incas. I sign up to the Incas paid one most
Mhm.
years. I didn't do it this year. If there was one, I don't know. I've not seen it. But I've done courses in more business stuff now and everything, and I expand myself that way. And it's just another thing that people don't realize that we do,
Mhm.
and don't realize that that you should do if you want to be serious about this. It's not just. And I speak to assistants all the time who or authors who are like, oh, I want to look at doing this. Can you tell my assistant how to do this? And just as simple as uploading to KDP or something. And I'm like, wow, that was day one stuff. Like,
Yeah.
And
there's also Google.
Exactly. That's what I was about to say. Yeah.
I think I have more respect and I'd more willing to help somebody if they've already tried to figure it out and just be like, I just can't figure it out. But when they come to you right away and like, I haven't done anything, teach me how to do it. No, I worked my ass off, to get here or this certain area, that knowledge that I know that I've worked hard to do.
Yeah.
So it is frustrating because you get that a lot from authors and for you guys, people just wanting the easy way.
Oh, there's
especially with marketing advice. Like I went to school, I've taken the courses, I've done my time, I've worked in marketing. This is my information. You find out your own.
It's also not like an easy thing to just type up and send out either. Like this isn't something that's like a 15-second TikTok or anything. These are things that take hours to just say and like months and years to really learn and master. I had somebody on this a little bit different, but I'm like kind of like what you guys get. Somebody on Instagram messaged and said, I'd love it for you to publish my book. It's a great opportunity for you. Let me know where to send it. Yeah. And I was just like,
Wow. Thank you.
well, it's like the first message I've ever had from this person. And I was like, and she said something about it'd be an honor for you to publish my book or something like that. And I was like, did she mean it that way or did she mean it the other way? I was like, I'm not sure. I just didn't respond because I was like, I don't know how to tell somebody like, no, I do know how to tell somebody no, but I just, I wasn't in, I read that and I was like, I'm just going to read a different message. So I was like, I don't have it in me right now. Yeah.
Yeah. The worst ones for me is when you know that I've seen so many people out there who don't do what they say they can do, and they have these packets available for authors. You know, oh, I have this author PA package and everything like that, and I can do this. And they've kind of seen what authors are doing, and they've plucked the words and they've put it into these packages that they're charging a lot for. But then you watch or you see, and it's like, those authors aren't getting that. They're not getting, or I've had them reach out and I've had people reach out and say, hi, Sophie, I put this on my package for the author assistant and everything, but I'm not quite sure how to do it. Is there any chance you can tell me how to do it? No.
Yeah. And it's like, you shouldn't. Yeah.
No, sorry. Why?
And one thing I've noticed with, especially you guys, there should be no cookie cutter, like, like I can do this and this and that, because every author's different. Every genre is different. What we write, how we do it, it's different. So when you hear already like authors out there, like if somebody's coming to you with like, I could be your PA, I do this, it's very cookie cutter, probably just run.
Yeah. At this point, I would say, I don't even think I could make a list of all the things that I know how to do, because I probably would forget more things that I could do to put on that list than what I do.
Yeah. I still talk to authors quite regularly. Like I'll have phone calls with them and everything. And I think some authors have reached out before because they've seen Willow doing things and they want to pick my brain about it. And I know that the way that we do things for Willow isn't going to work for somebody else. I know that because we do it to our books specifically, real specifically. And so I can give the overarching basis of what things are and everything. But to try and, like, for me to go and open myself up to authors now and be like, right, I can do this for you because of what they've seen, like it won't work. It will not work. And I know this because, I do some work with other people and everything, and I can take my skills, obviously, and the stuff that I've learned, but you have to come up with and create a whole new way of doing it for that author and for those books.
And you're starting from the beginning too. Like we've spent years building an online shop, and how to do so much with the shop. And the shop is so important now because it generates even more than Amazon. Whereas a new author creating her shop for the first time, the amount of time, like the energy and amount of time isn't going to have the same kind of ROI as it does for us when we modify things. So even if you were to do the same things for other people, it might not be profitable right away. And not everybody has that cash flow to invest in other revenues, like Patreon and Kickstarter and direct sales and such.
And I think that's another misconception with authors as well, because they can reach out to you and you can say, oh yeah, I know how to do that, but their circumstance is very different. So if you have a talk with them, you consult with them or anything like that, but it doesn't happen for them like they see, like Willow or something. If they say like Kickstarter, and I'm like, this is how you would do Kickstarter and everything. Well, how do I get 300,000 in my first Kickstarter?
Yeah,
it's like buying the makeup of Halle Berry and expecting to look like Halle Berry.
Exactly.
Yeah,
you don't.
And
but
a lot
it's
of
my fault,
right? When it doesn't,
it thinks that it doesn't work, and it's like, oh no.
Yeah. Well, our first barely hit its goal, and then our second did better. Our third, now we're on our seventh. Our seventh is obviously going to be very different. But I think a lot of authors, they don't have patience. But the reason they don't have patience is because they literally don't have the time. Right? The income is such a high, followed by a very low with the traditional way of self-publishing. And they need to have that stable income to keep going. But a lot of these revenue streams, you have to start small and build, and it takes so much time, and they very simply don't have the time. So they want that like give it to me quick, give it to me fast. Like, how do I make this happen right now? Like what, like, and a lot of solutions, quote unquote, is throwing money at it. But for these streams, you can't just throw money at it. Ads aren't
No,
gonna
and
do
that's
it.
and going off that, I know from speaking to authors and everything who have been paying assistants who they pay them smaller amounts of money and either want them to do more than what they're paid for in a way, or assistants are settling for, oh, I'll just take some free books. I know people just use it, like, send me books and everything. And then actually now they're like, oh my God, this is so much work and I didn't realize. Or they're not paid enough for what they're doing. But then on the flip side of that, authors are paying some assistants that are working for 10, 11 authors for small amounts, but you don't have the time to dedicate. I mean, I said to Colleen today when I was talking to her, I do not have the time at all to even think about potentially starting to do what I do for Willow for somebody else.
Same.
I was just thinking that.
Same.
No time. And people
like,
always
hey,
say, well,
we
there
would
must
allow
be
you.
because you people always say to me, well, there must be because you know you can't do that much. But I could not physically unless I didn't sleep and I didn't eat and I didn't look after my daughter. And then maybe
again, I think it's the frame of mind where when this again first started with blogs and stuff like that, and indie authors were starting out, it was kind of like, oh, we're doing this. Isn't this fun? Here's my book. And now it's a fucking business.
It
like
is.
We talk about this. This is, and you know, and you've started this little, you know, small and then now growing to like, you know, want to take over the world. But, you know, and I'm just trying to, you know, build that up too. But again, you have to run it like a business. So you go to any business and watch how they run and how many things they have to do. And you think like, oh, you just go to the store and get this box of cereal. No, the things behind it that got that cereal to you. Just again, there's so much more to your guys' jobs. And let me say, we're more dependent on you than like you guys could walk away from us and find another job. And we would be like, my world is done. Like,
literally not in this lifetime. Please don't walk away from me.
No, it's true. I mean, Willow and I had a few years ago a conversation where it was like, what do we need to do to change and to really put all into this? And it was, this is a business. This isn't just, you know, you sitting down writing books and us doing this and everything. If we want to do this, this is a business.
Yes.
And
that's very different from 7-8 years ago when 9 years ago when I started and when you came on. So back then, authors could publish a book, like self-published romance author, and you know, go out and have brunch. Well, go out and have brunch and then look a bit, oh, look, I'm in the top 10. No ads, no nothing. There wasn't the saturation that there is now. There's
the good old days.
I think like 2 years ago, there were 10,000 new authors publishing a day on Amazon.
COVID really like upped everybody up too.
They're
like, I'm home.
I'm sure there's more now. Well, I'm sure that there's more now. So now you're fighting with saturation. You're fighting with social media being the prime means of reaching your audience, but ads and like everything is an uphill battle now. And then you also have the Amazon algorithm, and Amazon has Montlake now, and they have deals with publishers. And as an indie, it's very difficult to carve your own path unless you're doing something different, I think. And we've done something that is very, very different. But one thing that Sophie and I have been talking about is potentially like consulting with other authors and doing that, because we may be able to do that. But again, we run into the problem of it will take time, it will take money. And a lot of people, if they're going to pay you to consult, they want to see money tomorrow. And it's like, that's not, you're going to see a negative because you're going to be spending money to do the things that need to be done. So that part makes me nervous. Like literally, like my love language is acts of service, and I'm resistant to helping people in this industry because of how much it really does take.
Girl, you help though enough, and I mean, I just can't imagine you taking on something else. Like, I'm speaking for Sean and Sophie right now. No, don't do it.
Sean is a hard no, but I think Sophie's love language is also acts of service. So We end up helping, I think,
Yeah.
more than we anticipate helping. And
Mhm.
yeah. But it is
Yeah.
fun, and it's really lovely to see romance authors kicking ass
Mm.
and making careers and empowering other women. And
Yeah.
so, you know, it's difficult to restrain myself, but that's what does hold me back, is the fact that I know it takes time, and a lot of people don't have time, and I know it takes money, and a lot of people don't have money. Like our shop in the beginning, we were barely profiting. A lot of things we were
Weren't
barely,
sometimes.
yeah, we literally weren't. But it was worth it to build it.
Mhm.
And I do think if you build it, they will come. It's just a matter of whether or not a new author has the ability to have that time and money to build it.
And
And
patience.
and to
Yeah.
be there. Yeah.
It's
to
hard because
Yeah.
if you're not like, if you're struggling or you're new to this, and even me, you know, there are times that you're like, you have to pick where your money goes. And
Yeah.
what if that's one time you picked wrong, you know? And I'm like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
we're in a decision right now that like,
Mhm.
I want to go forward with something, but it's a lot of money. And I'm like, what if this doesn't work, you know? And if
Yeah.
there's that fear of like, you know, so yeah, I can understand that same thing. I feel it too, that need of like, I want to know my money will work, you know, but in this industry, unfortunately, with anything, it just, you don't. Art is one of those things
Mhm.
that like, you could throw your money over here in ads and they could go nowhere. Or what if that one ad you spend the least on is the one that went like, boom, you know?
Oh,
Yeah.
like that one time I had, you remember on your Kindle? I don't know if it still does it or not, where you can have an ad on your Kindle.
Mhm.
And back when Jillian
yeah.
Dodd was like top 10 of Amazon, and her That Boy, or was it That Boy or That Summer? What is her title of that
I think
book?
it's That Boy.
It is
Yeah.
That Boy,
Yeah.
right?
Something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gorgeous cover, and she was like killing it. And she was doing those ads at the time, and I was like, oh, I'll do those ads then. And I gave them $25,000, and it was a new Amazon rep, and she spent it all in one day, targeting new mom merchandise. Yeah, it had no return. It was like going to baby wipes and diapers, like the ads were there, and it was just gone.
Oh, that
Like
made me sick to my stomach.
I know it. What is that? What is the episode where they go into, and it's gone? It's that South
Yeah.
Park episode, and it's gone. Scott was just walking around the house going,
Hard to-
and it's gone.
Oh.
God.
Yeah.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah,
Yeah.
like it's I mean, imagine if I had, you know, it did work. So I had a rep prior to that where I saw success, and then things changed, and then there was turnover, and then it was a new rep who didn't know what she was doing, and she was given my
Obviously.
account. Yeah. And I
Of
was
course,
like,
and-
sometimes you are a learning
Mhm.
curve, right? But imagine if I had given that advice to somebody and that was their initial like experience, they would hate me. Like, absolutely. Like, even though I didn't do it, I was just giving the best advice I knew how to give. But when you have that kind of situation being possible,
Mhm.
it's like, it's hard to swallow sometimes. It is.
Yeah. I had a conversation with an author a couple of weeks ago who was talking about, because you obviously have the influencers out there now, and the influencers
Yes.
who do the ads and who are paying, and some of them are astronomical, and some of them are decent, and then you still have the ones where my heart still lies with them that just accept the free ebook and love the free ebook, and they don't want paying for them, and they create all these graphics, and they don't get enough props for me because they get overshadowed now by these big people.
They do.
But this author had been advised to use some of the big influencers and see if she could get into the hands, because they've helped this one get into the top 10, and they helped this one do this, and they helped this one do this. But it's all this money, and it's like 10,000 for these posts and everything, and trying to make people realize as well that it doesn't mean it will work for you.
Yeah.
You know, having that
It
conversation.
wasn't the only thing that puts these authors into the top 10 either.
Yeah.
Right.
This,
It's not
this
like
is
it's
it.
just this
Yeah.
one thing. It's not a instant solution and a quick payoff. Like,
Yeah.
and sometimes people pay that money and they'll pay it over a number of people with a lot of money, and they don't even get near the top 10.
Yeah.
They don't get near an ROI. They just lose money. But
I mean, from, if you just look at your own TikTok yourself, and like if we look at Willow, like we have days where we have videos that are just thousands and thousands of views, and then now and again it's like, oh, what's happened?
why is
Instagram's
this
the
one
same,
not
Facebook's the
popping?
same. Why are we having like videos aren't doing anything? And then all of a sudden, from nowhere, one will just pop off somewhere, or and the hardest thing to tell people is nothing with social media is reliable as such.
No.
So all these people that are out there selling, like, I know the reliable social media ways and to do this and to do that, it's not.
Even if it does, literally nothing is reliable, because even if they do pop off, I forget who it was the last time Amazon froze ranks, and they had a brand new release that opened in it was like 3,000 rank or whatever, and then they had everybody had all their ads, had everything done, and rank was frozen. So they just spent money to not get, and the reason for the audience who's listening who might not understand, the reason that you need rank to change in order to turn a profit is because rank gives you visibility and your page reads grow exponentially the higher you get up, meaning the closer to number one that you get on Amazon ranks. So even if, all the readers who saw those TikToks all bought, they're not going to make their money back because they didn't. What you're paying for is a higher rank for better visibility, so that it's people on the platform can see your books. That's where the actual profit comes through. So it was horrific. It was absolutely horrific. And then another author had the same thing. She went into the dungeon though, which is when Amazon does not show your book. Yeah. So it doesn't show your book. You have to have an outside link to even view it on Amazon. You can't search it in the search bar. So all of everything that she booked was completely irrelevant. So there's absolutely nothing that is reliable other than the fact that you need to be persistent in this industry. That is the only thing that holds true, I think.
And I know some people are probably thinking, oh, well, if they buried her, why didn't she try and get her money back? That doesn't happen.
Corporations are like, that was nice, sweetie.
They don't care. They made my new release free. Beauty and the one that just released, my Beauty and the Beast retelling, The Beast and His Beauty, for like 2 days. They just randomly made my brand new release free on Amazon and Amazon alone. It wasn't free anywhere else. There was no reason for it to be free. And instead, my brand new release that was doing so wonderfully went free. And I just had, I think it was like 20,000 downloads or something. Oh my God. And I wasn't telling anybody anything. I was like, for the love of God, please put this back. And they emailed and they just said, I said, like, why is this free? This shouldn't be free. And they emailed back, 2 days later and said, I can, what was it? I can verify that it is now full price. Thank you. And that was it. No,
I got the same thing. Yeah. But they didn't change it back. They told it wasn't free, but it was 99 cents and they won't change mine back. And I've looked everywhere and it's full price everywhere else.
99 cents.
And they're like, nope, sorry, we're not. I'm like,
why? Like, that makes no sense. That's Amazon though. We could
but let's bring it back to you guys.
Yes.
We're about you guys, but I want to know what you think is the biggest misconception about your job, or maybe least.
I think I think the whole episode's been on misconception.
But you think it's the most I
think people think that assistants are like that they could be lazy, or that it's a loungeable job, that it's so easy, and it's like,
and that it's fun all the time.
Yeah,
it's not. I have a giant headache today, and she's sitting close to me on the screen.
The biggest thing
is, however you want it.
Just FYI, it's me.
Colleen and Stacey are at the bottom for me. So I think the biggest one for me is when people come and be like, "Oh my God, I'd love to have your job, and I'd love to be paid to read books all day."
Oh, okay, that would piss me off. Yeah.
Do you know the last time I sat down and read a full book? Come on.
Yeah.
I read chapters that she sends me.
There wasn't chapters by chapters and different things, or
And it's not just you enjoying to read it. It's us asking, like, okay, now how did that thing go? Should I add this? It's like picking your brain.
Can you edit this?
Fun. Yeah. While you're there. It's never just like them getting to read happily.
No. If you want to, no. And I think another one is is really annoying me is the people that reach out, and at the moment another one. It's also negative, isn't it? All these people that reach. Can I join Willow's teams? And I would love to be on Willow's teams. And I know that you manage them all, and I know that you do them all. How much do you pay us? I want to be paid to read like you.
Yeah.
They see me and they think that if they're on Willow's team, they're going to just be like paid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And just for the audience, just so you know, we don't pay. We do not pay for
No.
ARCs.
Oh God, Sophie, all of a sudden I'm just imagining you with like doing like some like TikTok where you're like lounging by the pool with a like a drink, just reading and being like, my job, right? And then the other half is just like the chaos and the headache and the like, you know, it's just like what you think my job is.
We have a so we use like a different teams, and we have it for somebody who does social media with us, and she said to me at one point, Sophie, it would be great for you to do more things about like what you do every day and a day in a life for you, and show people, and we can link it with Willow's, and we can do this sort of thing, and we can show like a day in the life and behind the scenes. And there was me sat over here like, okay, I don't have a really exciting life, like what you can see me do and everything, and
hitting the computer.
She was like,
"Oh, your head against the desk."
Like,
that would actually be hysterical.
Yeah, it would. And I wrote some things down one day, and I like it was when the beast went free and crisis management and trying to sort all that out, and you know, and I wrote some things down, and I was like, yeah, no, that would definitely not make a good day in the life, because I'm sure everybody just wants to see the fact that I'm just sat here at a computer, just, you know, scrolling social media, just, you know, reading a book, you know, sipping some coffee.
And Sophie and I have talked about before that I think one of the biggest misconceptions is that you have free time. I don't have free time. I am chained to my computer 24/7, 365.
Yeah.
I do not take vacations. That's the level of commitment you have to have.
Talking about? I take you to like places like Colorado or Texas.
Do you want to tell people what we do on those trips?
She still works.
God.
Bitch,
like,
pick up this
there
box.
And everything.
In saying that, like I was saying to Colleen the other day, I go on vacation like just before Christmas. It's the only time that me and my family can and everything. And it's, you know, you do all this work yourself, and there are members of the team that I can delegate to and everything. And, you know, there are things that we can pass on, but it's prior to going on that vacation that then I have to sit there and think from the beginning of December, right, what do I have to make sure is done for that week that I'm away? Or what do I have to make sure is taken care of for that week when I'm away? What could potentially come up in that week that I should make sure somebody knows how to do? You know, I'm going to, you know, in that thing of, right, I've got to take my iPad with me.
And you're still
that I've got at least something. You know,
Sophie and I have never taken a vacation at the same time before, ever. And I'm just now learning how to take I think both of us are just now learning how to take an actual vacation. But this winter we're gonna try to have the vacation days the same and like have everything. I know, right? I'm like, you guys can't see Stacy's face if you are not watching us. But I think that's just a part of like running.
Don't worry, we're all like that. We're all like,
right? Maybe it just burns when we're gone.
It's Murphy's
and we
law
get back.
in mine. Yeah, Murphy's law. Everything will like be burning, and I'll be that one person going, "It's fine, we're all fine." It's like everything's on fire.
I just keep saying to everybody, "I'll have my iPad. I'll have my iPad because I am going to try and read, so I can do things." Majority of things off my iPad. I'll have it. And it's like, okay, but you're not really going on vacation. You're not going to have a vacation then.
If you're bringing your iPad. It's kind of like Bailey, the lady who did our website. She had a vacation planned, and we had a massive, what happened? Like nothing had a shipping wait, or so it was something that
everything changed over for the website, none of the orders, a lot of orders went missing.
Yeah,
there was no shipping waits in. A lot of the products had like free prices, and I noticed when some orders had come through, and I was like, Willow and Sean were away at a sign-in. I was basically like, Colleen was away, you were all away. I was basically like, oh, I'm on my own. Oh my God. And I messaged Bailey, and Bailey was like, well, I'm traveling. But I'll take my computer because you obviously need this help. And we just sat. She sat her, I think it was 6-hour car journey with in and out of service. Yeah. And I sat that much, just glued, fixing, getting everything through, making sure that everything
It was
updated.
Texas, I think you remember.
It was
Yeah.
we were
Those
all in
texts,
Texas.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The
I was like,
following
"Oh,
day,
shit."
Bailey posted her on like an inflatable in a pool with her laptop. It was like, when you have to work while you're on vacation. I was like, ooh, that one's me. I'm sorry.
Sorry.
Yeah. I'm like, I love you. Thank you so much. But that's what it ends up being for me too. But also because I really like what I do, I think.
Yeah.
So I end up going on and checking things and checking in because I'm like, everything's going like, it's kind of like checking out.
I've said this to you, haven't I? Though, like, I've said no end of times. You're gonna go on holiday. You're gonna go on vacation. We call it holiday in the UK, but you're gonna go on vacation and everything, and you're gonna take some time off and everything. But make sure you message me.
Literally,
because I think in 7 years we haven't had one day where we have gone without messaging. There hasn't been one day. So I'm like, even if you just check in and tell me what you're doing.
Exactly. Just send a picture.
Please.
Yeah.
It's funny because there was a day and I tried to leave her alone, and the next day I get this message going, "Hi, just checking in."
Don't leave me.
I think when I had surgery and you didn't message me, and I was like, hello.
It really is. It really is. I say all the time, if I'm ill or my vacation last year, I was like, but I'll still be on my phone to answer messages. She's like, no,
I can't.
Like, no,
even if I'm on vacation,
don't stop talking to me.
Yeah.
My brain still goes 50 miles an hour, if not faster. So I can't not. And that's kind of the dedication you have to have.
It is. And I had my tarot reading yesterday, and then immediately before and after the tarot reading, asking Sophie, what does she want to know? And then after it was done, sending her the full list of notes that I took. But during my tarot reading, I asked about my husband, my kids. The majority of it is business. And she's reading, and I said, oh, is there anything like personally I need to look out for? Anything that the universe wants to tell me? And she did the cards, and she said, there's nothing here personal. She said, I guess if you try to take personal time, you end up working. I was like, oh, yeah, that's right. And I was like, okay, that's just going to keep going then. Is that? Yeah.
But it all comes down to the fact that we do love what we do. Like there are people like, oh, you're a workaholic, but I am a workaholic, and we've said over the years, we're workaholics, we should slow down, we should do this, we should do that. But when you love your job, and when it is, like for the first time in my life, the jobs that I've done, I've worked in care, I've worked in different things. I love this job. And, some of it doesn't feel like work. It doesn't feel like work because I love
like
it. Like
customer service. That definitely never feels like work. That makes my heart so happy
Colleen,
too.
I'm tagging you in.
No, it's that. Well, talk about I think in this business you kind of have to be not only a workaholic, but of course love what you do, because once you start not loving what you do, then that dedication, that drive to keep going dies along with it. But I can sit and be like, okay, I'm done, and I'll go sit and try to be like, I'll just relax my brain. Of course, now I pick up my phone and I'm doing marketing stuff for something. I can't stop. Like
I get bored.
There.
I get bored if I'm not completely busy all of the time. My brain needs to be going at all times.
Yeah. Same.
All right, to wrap this up, guys, because I think we're going longer. Do you have any dirt on your employers? Give this.
I mean, I do, but I can't talk about it.
So it's been a great episode. It's been wonderful. Time out.
We're done.
Sophie knows where the bodies are buried. That's
I say all the time. This is going to sound really bad, but I say all the time, I'm like, it's a really good job that I'm over here in the UK, because can the criminal system do things to me that it's like a joke sort of thing. Would I can get away with it.
She's joking.
Oh god, totally joking. There aren't bodies buried, it's fine. No. No, I don't have any dirt at all. There is nothing that I can think.
Nothing that you can talk about. I mean, it's the honest truth.
liar. I've never seen it.
But if you think about it, at the end of the day, you guys are our friends too.
Yeah.
And that's what makes us
we have
so
developed that,
protective of you and your
Yeah.
business is the relationship that we have personally with you.
Yeah.
So I think that that's really important too, that, you know, if you are looking into getting into this, you're doing it with somebody that you can be friends with and that you can 100% trust.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And you
Yeah.
want to back their stuff because you're going to be thrown in. Like, you're going to be forced to read a lot of chapters.
Have lots of alcohol.
Like, and tequila.
I told Sean one time where I was something about like if I go to jail, like joking about like doesn't matter. Anyway, and he was like, well, I don't know. Would they let you write in jail? Like he was debating pros and cons of like if you have a computer, you get more books written. Like
I was like, I might
less distractions.
Yeah, there's nobody to yell at Sean. I mean, Sophie's
I know he's
like,
thinking the pros and cons of you going to jail. He's like, no, not here. Not demanding another thing for me to do.
Right? We didn't know though. We weren't sure. Do you or do you not get a computer? We didn't find out.
Think so.
No, that
I think I've just thought of one little thing that's probably like the worst thing, and it's not really a bad thing, but it's when I have to beat her read chapters and I get them through and she's like writing away and everything, and then I get this chapter and I'm reading this chapter and it's starting to get to a really spicy scene, and then in brackets I get insert sex scene.
Stacey does that too.
I do a fight scene though. Like insert fight scene.
Yeah.
What?
Can't be bothered.
Yeah. Blue balls. A little bit of blue balls.
Oh, I'm gonna send that later. I'm gonna write that later. I'm like, what? So that's probably one of the worst things. I'm like, write your scenes, woman. But no, there's nothing else I can think of at all.
No, I love leaving on cliffhangers. Like mine are like a really good chapter and it'll end and she's like, what?
And every chapter with Stacey is a cliffhanger. So I'm just like, are you done yet? Are you done yet? Are you done yet?
Yeah.
All right. Well, this was easy.
It was amazing.
Not painful.
Yeah. If anybody out there has any questions, leave them in the comments below. Yeah. If your question is, what were you thinking of going to jail for? Don't ask. Like, follow, subscribe, and all that good stuff. And let us know who should be our next guest too. Tag them in the comments. Bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye.